Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ms. Taif El Shabibi, the student coordinator of the Math Club from the IT department at UTAS Muscat. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you here to this event. Today, we have before us a well known speaker, Dr. Sudarshan D., data engineer and professor, Kumaraguru College of Technology, Coimbatore, India, to present on AI powered tools for academicians. We gratefully remember his wonderful last presentation on metaverse and machine learning. I am sure he will enthrall all of us once again by sharing his amazing knowledge on the topic. Now I would like to invite our program coordinator, Ms. Sheikha Abdullah Al Marzouqi, to deliver some words about our department events.
Thank you, Taif, and good afternoon to all. It's my pleasure to introduce our resource person. He's a data engineer, a researcher, an author, and a professor at Kumaraguru College. His of interests are machine learning and software engineering. He completed his doctorate from Anna University, Chennai, India, and he is a gold medalist in postgraduate. Also, he has 5 industrial certifications, 1 patent, and many more. On behalf of the Math Club of the IT department at UTAS Muscat, I would like to invite Dr. Sudarsan to come forward and begin our session. Welcome, Doctor. You can start the session now.
Yeah, fine. Thank you, professors. Thank you for your introduction about me, and thanks for sparing your time as well. So happy in meeting you all after some time. I believe that all of you are doing good and having a great time here. So good in meeting you again. So maybe when you have any special insights for the day, I'll be happy if you can share the same on the chat. So if you have anything special for the day, you can share the same on the chat. I'll be happy to listen something from you. When you ask me what is more special in India, in certain regions we have heavy rainfall. So that is one thing from the side of India. And when you ask what are the other special areas, today I've completed another certification. So that is another update from my side. So these were some of the updates from my side. Maybe when you have anything special in your locality, I'll be happy to listen from you. So if you have something, I'll be happy if you can share the same on the chat.
Yes, sure, Doctor.
Maybe if interested, you can share something on the chat so that I can know your names, and throughout the conversation, I'll have a check on the chat as well. So maybe when you have any questions, I'll go look into it and I'll answer all your questions. So that's an update from me. So fine. If anything, you can please share on the chat. I'll be happy to go forward. So that's fine. Okay. So let's begin with a small puzzle which I brought for the day. So before that, let me try sharing my screen. I do believe that I'm sharing my screen for all. Okay. So this is just a small update from my side. So I believe now I've given a small puzzle here. So maybe when you're looking at it, I believe you'll be able to understand what it is. It's happy that many math professors are here. So I do believe that your computations will be much better than here. So I request you to have a look on this particular image and predict what could be the answer is. It is not that we should end up in the right answers. It is all about the try that we give. So please have a look on it and comment your answers of what it could be. Let us have a minute of time for this to resolve. So it is approximately 13:38:20. So let's have 30 seconds of time. Exactly by 38, maybe by 39, we'll have a check on this. So if you have any answers, feel free to share the same answers on the comment. So we'll have a check on the comment, and again we'll come back to our presentation. Okay. Again, 20 more seconds. If you're able to compute something on this, happy in getting these inputs from you. It says that something I have which has been given as 45 and something has been given the total as 24, and with respect to other three lotions, it is 12. So I've given. So fine, that's time. So let us have a short check on our chat to understand who are able to crack this particular puzzle, and let's have a check on the chat. I have got 10 new messages. Okay. So Dr. Brindu has given that as 60, Dr. Kamal Kumar has given 124, Dr. Rajalakshmi has given 240, and Dr. Fedos has given 124, and Dr. Gopal Tangavel has given 124, Professor Yagub has given 29, and Rama Lakshmi Mariappan Madam has given it as 1092, and again Dr. Pushpa Gowda ma'am has given it as 124, Dr. Arun Prasad has given it as 110, and Professor Rima has given it as 124, and again Dr. Bindu has given it as 116, and Dr. Madhusudan has given it as 124, and another person has given 408, and much more answers coming up. Okay, so I believe that majority of you have given the right answer, that is 124. So before that, I'll just give you a small insights which I want you to remember on looking at this particular image. Okay, so I don't say that the answers which has been given is right or wrong. This is completely a small perception. I believe that here you are able to get 3%. Okay, so here it has been given certain cameras were given. The summation has been given as 24. Typically, when you're having a look on this, maybe when you're looking a closer look on this particular one, actually there are two cameras which were given. So totally here I have 2, 3, 4. So totally I have 4 cameras. So it means that one camera is completely worth of that is, I have 4 cameras which is of 24. Okay, so 24 divided by 4, which is approximate, which is exactly 6. So everything has a value of 6. Okay, and maybe here when you're having a look, maybe when you're having a look, it says that here I have 3 units. Here I have a single unit. So 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. So 6 lotions cost 12. So one lotion is exactly costing 2. Okay, so this is one answer. Maybe when you're looking at this particular one, it says that here a person, I have 3 different persons. One person is holding a cam in his hand. So we were able to understand that the value of a cam is 6. So some man plus 6 is what I wanted you to mean. So let me assume that all the 3 man has 3 cams. So the total value will be 9. Okay, so rest we have few other values here. Sorry, we have 4 cams here. Sorry, 3 cams here. So each cam is approximately costing 6. So 3 into 6 is 18. So maybe when you're checking the value for this individual, it is 9. So totally the value will become 45. Maybe when you're computing the same with respect to this particular logic, we'll be able to come up with the right answers. So I would like to appreciate everyone who've given an attempt in giving the right answer. So the particular reason behind bringing this particular instance or example for this particular session is that, so this is the case wherein artificial intelligence can come in action. So being a human mind, I do believe that some of you would have minded this camera that has been held by the person, and some of you would have not noted those all those instances. Maybe when you're looking at this particular one, here, maybe when you're looking at this, I do believe that you'll be able to understand. Here I have a person who is not having a cam. So this value should be considered as 9 actually. So I do believe that many of you would have considered it as 15. Okay, so here I have 2 cams. Even this value needs to be considered accordingly. So this is what we call it as the human instance. Maybe when we wanted to have more precise answers, it is evident that we should end up with the logic of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is something that wherein it helps us to make precise decisions or analyze a larger amount of data on which I'll be able to have an exact decision. So whenever we are ending up with larger amount of data, or whenever we are ending up with precise decisions, there comes the action of artificial intelligence. So in a nutshell, I can call artificial intelligence something wherein it can help me to make a precise decision provided I do have a larger amount of data. This artificial intelligence has made a larger impact across all the domains, predominantly in the field of teaching and learning process as well. Okay, so today what I've done is that I've brought certain tools. So I'll be showing a small demonstration with that particular tools. And I do believe that maybe when you're going across these tools, you will be able to understand how these tools can be deployed for our own purpose. Okay, so I've brought a wide variety of tools for this session. So I wanted to be so precise so that maybe when we learn up 4 to 5 tools today, we have to ensure that we were able to use all the tools in all possible ways. That is my notion. So kindly, what I request you is that let me just understand from your perspective of what you're exactly expecting out of this particular session. It is evident that I brought multiple tools here. Predominantly, I wanted to understand how you wish to apply all these artificial tools uh, in the field of education. When you have certain expectations, rather than getting your expectations somewhere as a feedback at the end of the session, so let me get all your insights in the chat so that I'll be able to deliver the tools as the way that you expect. Okay, so I'll detail all the tools with the perspective of what is your expectation is all about. So let us have some short time wherein I wanted you to give all your comments on the chat so that I'll just go through that and I'll narrate my session with respect to your own expectations. I believe that this will make the session even fruitful. So that is my notion. So feel free to share certain insights of or expectations that you have upon this particular session. So leave them in the chat box. I'll have a check on it. So we will detail this process accordingly. So meanwhile, we'll have few fun as well, so that we'll be able to have a better discussion also. Maybe when I'm done with all the tools, we'll have some time wherein I wanted to have some interaction with you, because I do believe that rather than teaching much more or listening much more, when we have a one-on-one discussion, the outcome will be really fruitful. So I wish to have such a wonderful experience with all of you. So let's go with the same. I'm requesting you to give your expectations of this session in the chat so that I'll be able to deliver as per your expectations. Okay. So let us have a minute or another in looking at your expectations now. So I have one new message. When you have specific expectations, feel free to share the same on the chat. I'll have on that. Okay. So maybe can you share your expectations on the chat so that I'll be able to take it as the way that you want. Maybe if not, then I'll go with the way that I've planned actually. Okay. So maybe when you have any specific expectations, feel free to share the same on the chat. Any specific expectations, or maybe you could be so precise and this is what I'm looking out of this session. This is my requirement which I wanted to use it in my education or in managing my students. If you have any specific targets, let me do it. Okay, so that's fine. So anytime when you have any specific comments to be shared, feel free to give the same on the chat. Okay, so I'll be able to detail you accordingly as per your expectations. That's fine. Okay, so now let me tell you what is the first tool which I brought for the day. Okay, so evidently this is what we call it as chat GPT. So let us understand what is chat GPT at this instance. I do believe that many of you would have used chat GPT in a way or another to explore it better. Today I'll teach you certain etiquettes or certain methods through which we will be able to experience this chat GPT or the other the right way. Okay, so even I have brought certain other tools which could be a complete replacement for this chat GPT as well. So we'll try to understand about those tools as well. Okay, so now it's time to have certain understanding about chat GPT. Okay, so technically when trying to move ChatGPT, it means that I have set of algorithms which were already written that has a larger amount of data with respect to the inputs that I give. It is capable of giving all the output that I am actually expecting it. So that is what we call it as chat gpt. Okay, so currently this chat gpt has been given through a support called open ai framework. Okay, the recent version is GPT-5, but actually, as of now, we have access, the free access only with respect to Chat GPT 3 to 3.5 alone. Maybe when we wanted to end up in the higher versions, no other go, we should end up in the higher versions of prominent or paid versions of it. Okay, so this is GPT-5 is also have been developed using your open AI. Okay, so these are the tools. Okay, so this is the rise of chat gpt, which predominantly includes natural language processing that has been encompassed on the framework of AI. Okay, so I'll take you to the website and I'll detail you the process. So this is what chat gpt is all about. I do have an account already, so maybe when you're interested you can create an account now or sometime. So let me use my Google login to get into it. So let me get into my login. So I'll give this URL as well. So maybe when any of you have systems along with you, you can try it as the way that you want. Okay. So let me assume that I believe this is the common interface that you would have used it for some time for creating all your content. So now let me assume that imagine either you or your student is interested in creating a research article, or you're interested to create some content with respect to research. That is, you're about to create a math implemented AI model to create a research article that predominantly works on any data set that you're giving. So the idea is that you will be using a math model and also you will be using a AI model. In turn, these two will combine to give you the exact insights of implementing it in any domain. Either the domain could be an education sector, or either the domain could be any other forms of e-commerce, or even a business model, or whatever it is. So my objective is that I should write a research article that should predominantly use AI. Let me assume that I'm making use of Pareto distribution. Confess me if I commit any spelling mistake, because that will not make any impacts here. So I give AI Pareto distribution for smart learning. Okay, let me assume that I'm interested to create a research article in this particular title. Okay, sorry. So this is the title which I wanted to curate for my research article. So let me just copy it. Okay, so I've copied it. So now after coming into your chat GPT, I paste it. Now I wish to have a better research title for this. So what can I do is that here I should give a keyword, generate a research title for something I've given. So maybe inside this I'll be able to give the content that I look for. So I'm giving it in double quotes. Okay, so I've given. So let me see. Okay, now another better title has been given. So optimizing smart learning environments through Pareto distribution. This is one title, and also the extension has been given as a comprehensive analysis and implementation framework. So now I've been able to get a better title. So even when you are interested to have few other better titles, what you can do is that you can repeat this process for getting few other titles. Okay, so let me assume that I wanted to have two or more titles. Generate two research titles. So something, when you give it in quote, it means that that is the actual text that needs to be considered. Okay, so now let me just give an enter. See, now I'm able to get two different titles with respect to it. Now I'll be able to select one particle that I am really interested with. Okay, this is one way of doing it with respect to your chat GPT, but it's pretty much sure that almost many of us are making use of the same chat GPT for creating all our content. So it is evident that even there are few other persons who might be making use of the same chat GPT to generate certain content. Okay, so when you're trying to have an alternative, or when you wanted to taste the same experience with another tool, for which what I would recommend is that Google Bard. Okay, so this is a powerful a generative tool which has been developed by Google. Okay, so now what I'll do is that let me assume how this behaves when I try to generate the same title with respect to my Google Bard. Okay, so let me just give it. Let me exercise this process. Okay, so maybe when you're having a look on this, see, it just generates the other way. See, I have much more better titles here. When you're checking, a title has been generated. See, leveraging AI Pareto distribution for personalized learning efficiency, a deep dive. So this is capable of creating alternate titles. So what I propose is that maybe when you feel that many of us are making use of this chat GPT for creating all our content, so this Google Bard can be considered as an alternative. So wherein we have the options of generating all the content with respect to Google Bard, which remains so exclusive. Even when you're trying to understand the plagiarism for this particular one, it is evident that you'll be able to get only much more clarity on the text that has been generated and low level of plagiarism. See, here the title were generated in terms of three verticals. One is more specific, and the another is general, and the another is proactive, and a few other tips were also given. So let me assume that I do feel that the title that it has generated seems a bit powerful. So let me assume that I'm just selecting the second title. Even if you feel the title is good on the first, you can just go with it. And again, let me just copy this title. And again, let me come to your chat GPT. Okay. So I've given the title. Let me make it in double quote. I've given it in double quote. Now what should I give is generate abstract for so and so title. So maybe if I just give it like this, so what it does is it creates an abstract with respect to the title that you have given in a nutshell. See, now a wonderful title which has been created with respect to your abstract. Okay, so let me assume that I'm not so interested with this chat GPT. So predominantly what you can do is that you can just copy this, go to your Google bar and enter the same. Sorry. So even this generates a particular title for me. Even when you wanted to create a reference, or even when you wanted to create any research article using this chat GPT or Google Bard, it can reduce 1/10 of your time. Okay, so see, now it has generated a particular content even along with the keywords. Maybe when you are writing a research article, academicians, when they write a research article, it is evident that they should give the keywords predominantly. Okay, even these keywords were generated across. So this as another alternative which I propose to create another model. So now I just take you to another tool also. This is more similar to chat GPT, which is Vana's AI. Okay, so when you ask me what is more special with this Vana's AI, so now this is what we call it as Vana's AI. Actually, maybe when you're creating an account with this Vana's AI, this is more similar to your Google Bard and Chat GPT. I can call it as a combination of both these tools. Okay, but the thing is that once when you're creating an account, you will be able to generate content up to certain limit. I've exceeded my limit, so on which I don't have the chances of creating my own content. So I've been extensively using it to create all my content for my research articles. So even when I wanted to create a question for a particular mathematical subject, even in such cases, your chat GPT and Google Bard can help you. Let me assume that I'm interested to create an integral problem. Okay. So let me give it as integral math question. Let me assume that for 5 marks. Okay. So I wanted to create a 5-mark math integral question. See, a particular math question has been created. So I do believe that majority of the professors who've joined the session are from the Department of Math. So that's why I'm trying to make some implications on the terms of mathematics. The question has been generated. Okay. So now let me take the same question, and maybe when you're giving it for the second time, it tries to generate another question. Maybe when you're giving it, you'll be getting it the other way here. Okay, but the problem with the Google Bard is that it would take some time with respect to the keywords that you're giving. Okay, see, maybe when you're trying to give in terms of Google Bard, you are able to get it in another thing. It says that questions were unable to be created in terms of your math. So maybe this Google Bard can be extensively used whenever you're trying to generate a code for the same. Let me assume that you wanted to write a Python code for Fibonacci series. Okay, Python code. Let me call it as Python code for Fibonacci series. Okay. Maybe when you're giving all such things in terms of your Google Bard, since Google is well known for its search engine, right? It is in the process of generating all such things. So what it does is that it finds some difficulty in creating it. So maybe when you're interested to create certain programming ways, or when you're interested to create certain programming experiences, I don't think so that Google Bard can extensively help us in generating the code in terms of your Python programming. Let me assume that I'm trying to create the same program for Fibonacci series in a generic language. Fibonacci series program code. Okay. In such instances, what will happen is that maybe when the in previous example, I've given it more specific to the language of Python. So that is where it was finding it so difficult. Okay. So whenever you're interested to create certain content which is completely with respect to a simple text, predominantly you can go with your Google Bard when you're wanted to have it in the other way. Suppose when you're interested to have much more codes with respect to a generic way, always it is better to go with your chat GPT. So this is what I wanted to conclude. When you wanted to have a hybrid combination of both your Google Bard and Chat GPT. In such cases, this Chat Vanas AI can help you extensively. But provided only you will be able to use it for a particular time. The trial duration has been given for 28 days, and with a limited number of generations here. So I've exceeded my limit on which I don't have access to it. Maybe when you're trying to create an account for the first time, you can explore much more tools directly here. So that is one of the advantage of your Vanas AI. Now what I'll do is that I'll share the link for all these tools directly here, so that even maybe even after the session or now you can have a try on this particular tool directly. So maybe I'll just paste all these tools, and in a single shot I'll share everything to you now. So when you're interested more right away, you can just make a click on these tools so that you'll be able to have a better understanding about all these tools and how they actually work. And with respect to the region you are and your internet provider, there could be some challenges in accessing this as well. So we can go. So these are the 3 tools which we are discussing as of now. So let me check whether I have any questions. I'll try to answer the questions. And again, I'll take you to another set of tools. So I posted the link for all the three tools. Guys, professors, maybe professors and students, if you have any questions with respect to what I discuss, I'll be pleased to answer all your questions if you are able to share the same. Because I don't see any questions here.
Can I ask?
Yeah, ma'am. Maybe when they have any questions, if you unmute, I'll be able to answer them.
Are you able to hear me? And
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah. Please, professor, please go ahead. I can hear you.
Yeah, my question is when we are using it, if different people are using the same titles, for example, if I am using it for journals,
Okay.
okay, so the same thing will come for different people and we can find out a plagiarism, right?
Professor, I'll just give you a small way to get rid of the problem of plagiarism. I'll take you to, I guess you are able to see my screen now. So, yeah. Let me do it with ChatGPT. The same is applicable across all the tools. Okay, Professor. Maybe when you're having a look on that, I believe here I've generated particular title, right? So the initial title, what we have started with is something that is I wanted to make use of a Pareto distribution for smart learning. So this is the idea which I came across, and also I do believe that there could be some other persons who might be having the same idea. So let me just try generating these different titles. Here I've given it as two research titles, right? So what we can do is that we can increase the number of titles that we are generating, and even it is not that I should take it the straight way that has been given. For example, when we are looking at this title, it has been given strategic allocation of educational resources and novel approach with AI Pareto distribution for smart learning optimization. Okay, so let me assume that this maybe I do believe that even your friend or colleague would have selected this particular title, and you'll be ending up with the problem of plagiarism, for which I'll show you another AI facility that is available in the recent version of Microsoft Word actually. So this is just a Microsoft Word. I believe many of us will be using it every day. So let me just do it. Okay, I've pasted the content. Let me assume that somewhere here I have the chances of plagiarism. Let me assume that somewhere here after getting the plagiarism report, I'm getting a plagiarism check here. Okay, so please right click on this. Here we have an option called reread suggestions. I believe now you are able to see what I'm projecting.
Yes.
So please click on the rewrite suggestions. Okay. So here I have alternate options as well.
Okay.
So what we can do is that we can opt some of these auto suggestions here. Even this is predominantly powered by AI in terms of Microsoft Word. So even when you feel that there is a plagiarism with a particular word, the traditional way of doing it is what we do is that we try to change the synonym of that particular word. So maybe right clicking it, I'll be going with synonym, and I'll be trying to find what could be the other maybe I can just replace this word with another word. So traditionally, this is what many of the researchers were doing whenever they were struck in the problem of plagiarism. Though when they have the novel idea of themselves, this is another option that we have it in the recent versions of Microsoft Word. So wherein we have the options of rewriting the entire text. So I do believe that through this we'll be able to completely get rid of that particular problem.
Okay. Okay.
So this is one such way of doing it.
Okay. Anyway, we can expect plagiarism in normal cases. Am I right?
I mean, majority of the cases, maybe when you're so precise in the title that you are giving, I don't think so that we'll be ending up in the problem of plagiarism. Maybe if I just give it with the generic title, there are chances that I'll be ending up in the problem of plagiarism. When we are a bit precise, we can avoid it completely.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Thanks for your question. Even others, when you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer your queries. You can unmute and ask. Even if you have anything, maybe you can just leave it in the chat. Professor, I do believe that you are able to get what I've posted on the chat, right? I've given certain links.
But it did not come in the chat.
Oh, fine, fine. Actually, now it has been addressed directly to Math Club. I don't think so that I'll be able to send it across all of you. Just a minute. Okay.
We will be sharing whatever we get from you, Doctor.
Fine, fine. Just a minute. Okay. Now I have made it to everyone. So I guess now all of us will be able to get what I've shared. Am I?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we got it.
Yeah, good, good, good. Earlier, this has been addressed to one particular ID. That's the issue. Now I've resolved it. Yeah, thanks. I have some questions as well here. Let me just do it. Is there any possibility to generate data source to feed a server without any modify? That is, I do believe that you are asking, is there any way of generating data for your research? Even for that, I've got a tool. I'll detail you that. And can any AI tools be used for marking answer paper using answer key? I am unsure of what is the AI tools be used for marking answer paper. So I do believe that you are asking a particular tool that is capable of auto evaluating, or Professor Kamal, can you please clarify me on this question, Professor Kamal?
Now, actually, there are many smart evaluation tools, smart evaluating, where manually the teachers do it. So, using
Yes.
the any AI tool, can the AI tool automatically evaluate the paper? Is the technology is there? Well, that's I was thinking.
No, actually, we don't have any specific ready-made tool for evaluating the scripts on the regular basis, but there were certain programming tools which were implemented already. So what we do is that a student will be coming and writing all his code there. At the back end, we'll be having for some test cases that will be kept on checking. So if a code is matching with all the test cases that has been given, and he'll be evaluated accordingly. But this facility has not been yet given for the manually written scripts. It is under progress.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
No specific tool has been brought in. So some of you were asking me to suggest certain tools for getting your data set. For even for that, I planned a particular tool. Let me not go with the presentation because I believe this will give you a better learning rather than discussing what I brought it. Okay, so this is a famous website. What we call it as Kaggle. Kaggle is something that it is a larger platform wherein you have access to across the database. Okay, so let me just show you an example. Uh, Please create an account on your Kaggle and get into it. So let me assume that some of you are interested to work with the data set of online education, as we've been discussing already. So let me just give it as online education. So here I have online education. Okay, so see, here I have much more data sets. I have something which is respect to students adaptability, and I have online education databases by OECD and much more here. For your information, all these data sets are completely accessible. Okay, so when you wanted to do and research on any of these data sets, I don't think so that we have some proprietary problem here. These are completely open source, and even people are happy in sharing their data sets here. So we can download it and we can use it the way that we want. Okay, so this is one tool wherein, irrespective of your domain, you'll be able to get a data set here. And let me assume that some of you might be working with your healthcare sector as well. So let me just give it as healthcare. So when you're entering it as healthcare, see, here I have many data set which are with respect to healthcare. When you ask me what could be the typical format of these data sets, you have it across. You have it in terms of images, you have it in terms of tables, you have it in terms of text, and any other format that you're expecting, you have a solution here. Okay, so these are the types of possible files which are available, which has been listed here. And predominantly, it includes the types in terms of CSV and Excel sheets in terms of larger number. And the image, audio, video, and everything will be available here. Okay, so this is one of the greatest advantage with this tool of Kaggle, wherein already the data sets would be readily available. In my knowledge, any research that you are doing, it is not that we should create our own data set. It is evident that even when we are making use of any existing data set, that becomes really acceptable across all the universal publishers. So I guess I've answered the question as well. Let me check further questions. So maybe when you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself, or even you can leave it on the chat. Periodically, I'll answer all your questions then and there. Any other questions to be answered on these topics which we were discussing? Okay, that's fine. So I've shared the link of Kaggle here. So even you can just get into this link and you can download your own data set that you are interested in. You can proceed. So when you ask me how to process all these data, I believe in last session we have discussed about a few tools which were helping us to make few decisions by ourselves. So feed all these data that you're taking into the tool that we have discussed in previous sessions, on which you'll be able to do it further. So this is anyone maybe have any doubts, I'll be happy to answer. If anything, please do share it on the chat. You can share your questions here. Yes, yes, Professor. Maybe if you have any questions, you can share it on the chat. I'll be able to answer you accordingly. Yeah, thank you everyone. Thanks for your time and sharing. Now let me take you to the other tool. As of now, we were discussing about certain tools which were really helpful in creating a textual content, and also we were discussing about one particular tool wherein we'll be able to get all the data sets. Now let us have a look on a particular tool that helps me to make all my simulations, all the mathematical simulations and all the operations that I do in a simple way. Okay, so I'll share you the link for this tool as well, so you can get into it and you can do your operations accordingly. Okay, so this is what we call it as Desmos, a powerful tool wherein I'll be able to make all my simulations with respect to the data that I've taken from Kaggle. Okay, so here I have something called a plus. Here I have the options of including a table, but we have certain limitations to it because as we are going with the free version, we'll be able to make use of only a few number of tools. Okay, so let me show you a small example with respect to it. So here certain graphs and analysis which I've curated it for my own research using these tools, and when you're opening your portal for the first time, you will be able to find some of the existing algorithms and formula that are readily available here. When you want it, you can readily deploy it and you can see how the data behaves with respect to your inputs. So now let me assume that I'm much interested with this linear regression statistics, which I've included it sometime before. So let me just open this graph. Okay, so I've given some inputs as well. I've written everything here. So this is where actually it goes. Okay, now let me assume that I have certain inputs for which I'm interested to create a simulation. So let me have an extension on all these values that I give. Okay, so what we have done is that we've given all the values here. Some plots were done accordingly here. I do believe that you were able to see all the plots here. Okay, so this is how we'll be able to do all our executions here. Okay, and here is what you can define how the execution should behave and what are the value additions that needs to be brought in. And here I have my residuals, that is what is the program that I'm bringing in and how I wanted to execute it or how it actually happens. Okay, and maybe here I have my sample of what has been inputted. Okay, in interest of time, what I've done is that I've created an already existing model because it would take some time to configure my entire data set into it. I'll show you a small transformation scaling which has been done for some other reasons already. Okay, So I've brought in the data set already. Here I have a basic formula, and also I wanted to understand how the transformed version will be of. So here I have the value of a which has been given here, and also I have the value of constant b which has been given here. Now let me simulate it and understand how it actually goes. Okay, if at all you feel that some conversion happens, by the time you can just adjust these values and you can experience how this transition happens, or how where the collision happens, or where your curve exactly matches. Okay, so all these can be done accordingly by changing these values. Okay, here my ultimate motto is of finding the convergence on the data that I've brought in, for which that particular tool can be brought in. Okay, so here I have options of, maybe if I feel that the value 7.6 and 3.2 is making an impact, I can have a save or commit at this particular stage. So whatever simulations that I do, I'll be able to import it directly to the workspace that I do it. Okay, so this is how it works. Maybe when we wanted to have an extended version of how it actually works, what we can do is that we can check with the simulations. It keeps on going, and we can understand where the simulation happens across, and we can have a plan on where our data actually works. Okay, this is the way through which all the manipulations and simulations will be done for any values that you're working in. Okay, for which what we have to do is that we have to import our data through this particular option, and as I've told you already, we'll be able to bring in our own data sets and our own operations into it. Even when we wanted to define our own formula, it is absolutely fine in terms of your Desmos. We can do it across. Okay, so this is the greatest advantage of Desmos too. You have multiple formulas here. Even when you have your own formula that you generated, you can bring it and you can have the insights here. Okay, so now I'll share the link for this particular tool. So yes, I have two more questions to be answered. How to solve graph theory questions and how to draw graphs in discrete maths. Professors, that is what I've been telling you. You can define your own formula here. Okay, I've been using it for not solving any of the math problem as of now. To make use of a mathematical model for my data set, I've been extensively using it. I'm good enough in terms of organizing data and organizing or taking certain insights out of it, but I haven't got the opportunity to get into a real math and work with the stuffs that you are interested with, that is implementing in terms of discrete math, etc., etc. But what you can do is that you can get into this tool and you can explore, because by default certain other tools where certain other formulas will be existing here. For sure you can extend it and you can explore it the way that you want. Okay, so these were some of the experiments which I've done it for my research. So if you want, you can explore it. Few are readily available. Can we do overlay gaps with more values? Yes, this becomes completely possible in terms of Desmos. That becomes possible. We can do overlaps or overlay as well. I tried it already for few other reasons. Okay, yes, I have any other questions? No, that's it. So fine. So this is what we were discussing across. Now we've discussed about text generation, we've discussed about data set, we've discussed about simulations in terms of Desmos. Now, hello. Yes, Professor. Fine. We have discussed about all these tools. Now it's time to have some understanding about how I'll be able to visualize or how I'll be able to make my presentations the better way. That is, when I have this is another tool exclusively used for creating much more effective graphs. Okay, I've created a math model on which I'll be able to understand what to be created and how to be created. So by making use of this particular tool, I'll be able to create graphs in a better way. Of course, we'll be able to do this process in terms of Microsoft Excel also, but maybe when you're coming in, it looks the professional way. Okay, so whatever your requirements are, here you have the chances of doing it. Okay, so after creating an account on this, you have to click on this create new project. I've created a project already to demonstrate you something. So let me just take you to this. So it would take some time to set up the entire experiment. So please do bear with me until it builds. And yes, this is the typical environment of how it actually looks like. So this is the graph which has been generated here. See, here I have graphs of multiple types. Okay, you have multiple values here, and with respect to the insights which has been made through Desmos, you can just get into you can get into this Google Sheets or Microsoft Excels or Analytics or SurveyMonkey is available on. Professor, sorry, there is an intervention. Fine. Fine. So maybe when you wanted to import your own data into it, you have to link your account with Google Sheets. So that helps you in getting into it. Okay. So now let me get the help from Google Links. Okay. So what you can do is that you can connect it to your Google Sheets for getting any of your data sites, or when you have the URL, you can just paste it. So now let me prefer this way. Okay. So maybe after getting it connected, I have a sample. I've named it as sample. So I've brought in. I've selected the worksheet that I wanted to do it. Now I try to insert. Yes. Okay. So I have customer ID, I have age, I have promotion code, etc., etc. Now my data has been imported to it. The simple reason is that maybe if I have it as a Google Sheet, so whatever implications that I make it in Kaggle, that can be readily brought into your Google Sheets, and the graphs can remain dynamic all the time. That is the reason wherein we wanted to make use of all these experiments. Okay, so now I do believe that we were able to understand or get certain insights about this Visme tool. So that's fine. Now I'll share the link for the same. Okay, I've shared the link for the tool Visme. If you are interested, you can get into it and explore further. Okay, fine. And I have another question. Professor Yaha has asked me, is it possible to modify a fixed data which is generated, protected with code, and the code is lost? Professor, any chances that you can unmute and have a word, because I'm unable to understand what you are exactly interested to know. Professor, can you unmute? Any chances there? So I do believe that you are trying to understand, is it possible to modify a fixed data? Maybe in Kaggle, when you're trying to download a data, or when you're trying to download a data, we have the options of editing it completely. So when we have the comfort of editing all our data, code is completely flexible. So irrespective of what the language that you're using, we'll be able to fine tune it as per our own demand. So that becomes completely possible in terms of this. Okay, this is another notion which I wanted to bring in. So fine. If any other questions, feel free to share the same on the chat. Okay. So this is the next tool which I wanted to talk about. Even I've been doing all my presentations on this particular tool. This tool is Canva, wherein we'll be able to make much more precise presentations for any meeting. Even for this session, I've created some content with respect to the Canva today. Okay, so I'll tell you. So after creating an account on the Canva, this is how the portal typically looks like. Even when you wanted to create a presentation, or even when you wanted to create any pics for your Instagram, or even when you wanted to make any brochures for your department, or when you wanted to do certain designs for your department, all such supports can be extended through this Canva. Okay, so let me tell you what are the options that are readily available here. Okay, so all these tools are completely powered by artificial intelligence. So we have the comfort of using it and making the changes as we require. Okay, so let me assume that maybe for today's session, I believe you would have used certain tools for preparing the brochure. In such cases, what we can do is that we can get the help from Canva. Okay, let me assume that I wanted to create a brochure for a particular webinar or a particular seminar. Maybe what I can do is that I can just give it as brochure. Brochure education. Let me give it as education. Education pamphlet brochure. So let me just tap on it. I have much more templates here. So whatever template that we are interested, we can go with it. So let me assume that I'm so impressed about this particular template. So let me just get into it and click on this use template. Okay, so before you're getting into it, there is a particular symbol called crown. It means that these are protected. Maybe when we are wanted to use this pro version, we have to pay a large sum of money. So let me not do it. Let me just go with some of the free versions available. So this is one of the free version which is available. So let me just go with it. Okay, so just click on this customize template. And here what we can do is that we can customize our own presentations or models using this. Even when you're selecting this model, when you're interested with the other model, even we have the comfort to access the others as well. Okay, so we can increase the size. Okay, and we can import our own diagrams or whatever we are interested, that can be brought into this workspace and created. The same process is applicable for creating few presentations as well. So now let me assume that I wanted to create a presentation, okay, an educational presentation or a university presentation. Okay, so let me give it as so I have some presentations. See, here I have something called presentation. It has a crown symbol. Let me exclude it. Even let me assume that I'm just wondering with a particular maybe I feel that this presentation, thesis defense presentation, is better. Even that is available at free, so you can just get into it. Okay, and we can navigate. We have much more content here, so apply all 12 pages. So what I do is that I do click on, excuse me, apply all pages I've given. So all these pages were brought into my workspace now. So I have the options to make all my corrections here, and you can do it as the way that you want. Okay, the final tool for the day is something which is respect to presentation is Prezi. I believe I could call this as one of the most powerful tool which ever all of us will be really interested to look at. Maybe even after this, let us have a short recap of what are the tools that we were discussing. Okay, this is another powerful tool wherein we'll be able to make all our presentations in 3 dimensions. Okay, so I'll tell you. So I've selected one particular model. It would take some time to build, I guess. So let me take you to my workspace. So these were some presentations which I've done sometime before. So let me just show you directly in interest of time. So mainly when it comes to a presentation, we have the comfort of moving it in forward and backward direction. But maybe when it comes to this Prezi presentation, so we'll be able to have a float on the presentations. I'll show you a smaller demo, even it is quite interesting as well. So this is my presentation is all about. Let me assume that uh, even in the presentations in terms of Microsoft PowerPoint or another, let me assume that I'm in my first slide. I wanted to navigate to my 20th slide. So the one way is that I can make use of hyperlink to navigate. But maybe in the case of Prezi, let me assume that I have a particular image. I wanted to zoom it and show it to my students. So what I can do is that you can just double tap on it so the presentation can be zoomed in. Even when you wanted to have a closer look, that becomes possible in terms of your Prezi. And the navigation will be completely with respect to 3 dimensions. See? So I'll be able to have a zoom in and zoom out way as the way that I want. So let us not mind about the content of what I have given. So wherein I have the chances of navigating it across. Okay. So I'll be able to bring in certain text images into it. I'll be able to bring in any high definition images into it. See, actually this has been given as a text, but which has been pasted as an image. Okay. And even when you wanted to make use of any sounds of high quality, these can be imported into the workspace of Prezi. Okay. And the greatest advantage with this Prezi tool is that you have the options to zoom in and zoom out in terms of your video as well, provided when you are making use of this tool, you should have an extensive network support. When your network is feeble, I don't think so, this tool can help us as the way that we want. Okay. So I've shown you how this particular presentation is goes the way that you want. Uh, Also, I'll give you certain ways of how to create a presentation. So after opening an account in terms of Prezi, maybe when you're opening it for the first time, you will be taken to a blank workspace. Okay, I'll show you. When you're creating your presentation for the first time, this is how your entire page looks like. In which what we have to do is that just click on this presentation. Okay, let me select the blank one here. One of the problem with Prezi is that it would take much more time to build your workspace. So let me call it as sample 2. That's fine. So maybe when you're clicking in, what it does is that it tries to create a similar space like this, in which what we can do is we can add much more modules into it directly. For example, when you're clicking on the slide, it creates a model like this, an empty model like this. So it tries to create an empty slide like this, wherein we are about to add all our contents out of it. Okay, so this is the empty model which I've created. Here I have the options of style, frame, text, media, etc., etc. When you're clicking on the text, you have the options of entering all your text into it. So we can enter all our text, and after entering all the text, we have frames as well, which can be placed anywhere. So when you're trying to open a new presentation, typically it comes with a blank presentation, and we are about to add all our content to it, and that will be given as slides here. Okay, One of the problem with Prezi is that only when you're having a stronger internet connection, we'll be able to make much more magic using Prezi. Okay, and even when you have any presentations which were already done in terms of Microsoft PowerPoint, these can be readily imported into your Prezi as well. Okay, so just click on this new and import them in terms of images. Okay, here I have the options of importing certain media, right? So click on this image and we'll be able to import it because I've used my maximum limit. So that's where these options were not enabled for me. Maybe when you're using a free version, you have certain limitations on it. If I wanted to create another presentation, maybe with the help of my another email ID, I'll be able to make use of all the available options in terms of Prezi. So I believe I've covered the tools which were planned for the day. So let us have a short recap of what are the tools that we were discussing across. Okay. For example, the first tool what we have discussed is something which is respect to Chat GPT, which is completely for creating a textual content. So when you ask me what could be the better alternative for it, I would say that Google Bard could be a better alternative for it. And the third one is Vanas AI. When it comes to Vanas AI, it is a tool which is a combination of both Chat GPT and Google Bard. Okay, and another tool what we were discussing is something which is respect to the rewrite option that is available in your rewrite option. Rewrite option available in your MS Word, Windows Word or Microsoft Word. Okay, MS Word. And the fifth tool which I've given in the chat, maybe when you're having a look on the chat, we'll be able to understand what are the tools that we were discussing across. Okay. Next, we were discussing something which is respect to Kaggle. So I'll just copy this link so that all of us can have all these tool access in a single click. So next we were discussing certain insights which is respect to Kaggle, and next we were discussing some insights which is for implementing all the mathematical problems which is Desmos. And finally we were discussing something which is respect to Wisme. This is used for exclusively used for creating charts of larger extent or larger size. And we were discussing something which is respect to Prezi. Sorry, Canva, and after that we were discussing about Prezi. And finally we were discussing about Prezi. Okay, so these were the tools that we were extensively discussing. So these three tools are used for creating textual content, and finally we were discussing about rewrite option in MS Word, and also we were discussing about Kaggle. This is used for getting your database, and Desmos is for creating all the simulations using your mathematical formula. Wisme is used for creating charts, and Canva is used for creating wonderful presentations, and Prezi is used for creating all multimedia presentations in a multi-dimensional way. When it comes to Canva, I have the chances of navigating to and fro. In case of Prezi, I have the comfort of navigating it across the third domain as well. Okay, so these were the tools that we were extensively discussing today. I do believe that you'll be using these tools as the way that you want. Maybe when you want more information with respect to these tools, feel free to connect me. I'll share my contact details here. So someone interested, so please ping me. So I'll detail you when my time permits. Okay. So herewith, I just conclude my presentation for the day. For the next some time, I wish to have some question and answer sessions so that I'll that you have, and we'll be able to have a better insights for that. If you have any doubts, I'll be happy in clarifying all your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Sudarshan, for your excellent presentation. Now comes the question answer session. Dear audience, you can ask your questions now, or you can type your queries in the chat box. Any questions?
Just a minute, I'll share my LinkedIn credentials with you as well. So just a minute.
Audience, do you have any question? You can ask. Thank you.
Professors have given my contact details here. Maybe when you want any help or even when you look for few sessions, feel free to reach me. So I've shared my contact details. I would like to thank everyone who joined this session. So do we need internet connection to play Prezi's PPT? Even when it comes to Prezi, we have two different options. I'll share my screen to you, Professor. Just a minute. Okay. So as you've been asking, when it comes to Prezi presentations, you have an options of downloading it as well. Okay. So you can just click on the start presentation and you can disconnect your internet. So for some time, we will be able to use it without the use of, without the help of internet for some time. But what I feel is that it is better to make use of internet availability across when we wanted to do a content delivery. So this is my suggestion. Hope I've covered all your questions. If you have
Yes,
further
thank you.
questions.
So I think there are no more questions. Once again, thank you, Dr.
Good.
Sudarshan, for your wonderful session that you presented here. It was really informative. I am sure that the audience would have gained a lot from your inspirational presentation. Thank you, Dr. Jagat, for introducing us as such knowledgeable resources to speak. We are expecting some session from you in the future too. Best of luck and have a great day. Now
Yeah,
I would like to invite Dr. Ibrahim, Professor, IT Department, to award the Certificate of Appreciation to our resource speaker, Dr. Sudarshan.
Yeah,
Welcome,
just
Dr.
a small, just a small note. At the outset, I would like to thank the team of professors from Math Club and UTAS who've given me an opportunity. Also, my sincere thanks to Dr. Saeed Sulaiman El Riyami and Dr. Bushra Hibraj for coordinating this event with me. Also, my humble thanks to everyone who were with me through this entire presentation. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your patience. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ibrahim. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up our session. The participation certificate will be generated automatically once you finish the event feedback. The link will be sent to your registered email address. On behalf of the Math Club of the IT department at UTAS Muscat, thank you all for making time in your busy schedules to join us here. It's been our pleasure to host this event, and I wish you all a pleasant day. Thank you.